Hey all, upon further thought, Angela and I decided we were going to offer our deeper conversation about project management systems to everyone. So, we are going to take our conversation about specific project management systems, break it into two episodes because it's so long, and give them to you this week and next week. So, here is part one. Enjoy.
Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard, and yet, in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms Podcast.
I will say, Angela and I love this topic. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm an organization freak. I just love organizing things.
I love the organization stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. How many do I have here?
A lot.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them. And I didn't even write them all down. So
there's
that's
a couple I haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I know. You'd think after all this time we'd have played with every single project management system out there.
I know, right? Okay. So let's just go ahead and jump into Marvin. Or
Yay,
Amazing Marvin. And I say that to start with it because this is the one Angela uses.
Yes.
And to be honest, it wasn't on any of the top 10 lists I looked at. What I did is I tried to look at top 10 lists that weren't from like a project management system. Mm-hmm. So I went to something like Forbes or, stuff like that, that was more neutral ground, because some of these had their own list, but of course they put themselves at the top.
So. Right. Of course they did.
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? So I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Marvin is new. It's not a hugely popular project management system. And I think part of that is because it's designed to be a project management system for one person.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, it doesn't have the capabilities to have like teams or things like that. So if you are like me, if you're a freelancer and you are the only person you're responsible for, Amazing Marvin can be great. But if you have subcontractors or you have a team or you're a bigger business, it's not really meant for that. And they're pretty clear about that on their on their pages. Like it's really just for one person. But it's gamified, so you can earn points for doing the projects and checking off tasks, which is exciting. It's got the little, surprise pop-up celebration like we were talking about with Asana. Yeah. Which makes it really fun. And it's designed to give you a lot of flexibility over how you approach your tasks. So it has a lot of built-in strategies. So it has like Eisenhower metric, it has Pomodoros, it has the one I use is, it looks like an Eisenhower metric, but it's like today, tomorrow, later, and eventually. For that, you can make smart lists to sort your tasks in different ways.
I think once you said you can basically write everything down and it just randomly pulls one.
You can, yes. You put it, I use that. Like that's the one I used. Yes, I take all of my today tasks and you tell it, put it in the jar, and it puts it in like a fishbowl. Mm-hmm. And then when you click on the fishbowl, it will pull a task out for you at random, which if you have executive function problems and have trouble making decisions or getting started on things, that's really helpful.
Yeah. And it's also really helpful because if you're left to choose, sometimes it's easier to choose the easy tasks. Yes. Instead of, oh man, it pulled out the hardest one. I got to do it.
Yep. Like, all right, this is what I'm doing then.
So, side note, I was having a conversation with a family friend recently, and they asked me how working from home was going, and and then someone else that was there that also works from home, they kind of jumped in too, and it was like, it's great, but you have to be a self-starter. You have to
Yeah.
have that self-motivation. You have to have that drive to do on your own without someone hovering over you telling you to do something. So I was also thinking about how project management systems help with that.
Mm-hmm.
And something like this, if it's hard for you to choose or make priorities,
Yeah.
yeah, like just toss everything you have to do in a bowl, pick one and go.
Yeah. And it has something else it will do is if I put a task on my list for today, even if I go in and I reschedule it for tomorrow, when it pops up tomorrow, it will have a little number and an exclamation point to show me how many days I've been putting it off. Like even if you schedule it. So and once you get, I think it's past 3 or 4 days, it goes from like a yellow letter or a yellow number to like red. So it really shows up on that task list of like, you've been putting this off for a while. And one of the functions it has is called a procrastination wizard. I don't use it very often, but I've played with it. And it basically, if you open it up on that task, it will start with like, okay, why are you putting this task off? What's the first step to doing this task? Do you have everything you need for this task? To kind of analyze, like, why are you putting this off so long?
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so when it comes to pricing, Marvin, does it have a free version?
It does not have a free version.
Okay, so I see here on
Sorry.
this article that talked about it. Well, this says it does have a 30-day free trial, and then it's $12 a month, or $95.88 a year, or
Mm-hmm.
$300 for a lifetime. Now,
Yeah.
again, any pricing that we mention on this podcast
Right.
is subject to change by whether we're looking at a recent article
Yeah.
or whether
The
the
company.
the company decides to change it.
I know
So,
they're gearing up to get rid of their lifetime
mm,
access. I've gotten a couple emails about that. So
yeah. So if you're interested in something for yourself and you're solo, you might consider jumping on that. Um, I love that it works for you, Angela, but I'm finding it really hard to recommend it
hmm
because I'm the one that's always thinking down the line, but what happens when I want to bring on someone to help with a
Sure.
project? What
Yeah.
happens for, so for me, I'm much more team geared, I think. But
hmm
then again, I also really enjoy managing projects and helping others learn and do the task. I
Yeah.
think you're more into, I'm just going to do the task myself and get it done.
Yes.
So I think that's also, you got to look inward and think to
Yeah.
yourself what you enjoy doing. Do you see yourself as being someone to manage people someday?
Yeah. And if you're the type of person that can just make a list and do the tasks, then something like Asana, Trello, any of the other project management systems is probably going to be fine for you. If you're someone who, like me, has trouble getting going, organizing your thoughts, keeping track of things, then Amazing Marvin might be good for you.
Now, one more caveat to Marvin is it doesn't quite have a good app yet, phone app.
No, it has an app, but there are some things you have to do on the browser for it to work. Like if you want to change strategies or add things, add like an Eisenhower matrix or something, a lot of times you'll have to get on the browser and do that for it to show up
Mhm.
on your phone. So it's not fully fleshed out yet.
But you did say it's new, so it
It
has the
is new.
potential to grow.
Yeah, it's new, it's growing. It has a really good community around it, so they get a lot of feedback,
Hmm.
which is really nice. So,
Yeah.
and also, I don't need an app because I only use it for work and I don't need that on my phone.
Hmm. I work from my phone a lot,
Yeah.
so I need something that
Yes.
has a good app. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. The other thing is at the end of the day, even going through all of these, just remember our keynote for all
Yes.
of this. The best app is the one that works best for you.
Yes. Best program is the one that works best for you.
So what works best for Angela is going to be what's, is not going to be the same as what works best for me, which is not going to be the same as what works best for you for different reasons. Even if we end up
Mhm.
choosing the same one in the end, it might be because of different things. So just keep that
Yeah.
in mind. We're just trying to talk about these, but not force any of them upon you.
Yes.
Okay, the next one I want to talk about is Trello. Now, to me, Trello is like the OG of project management.
Yes. That
It
was
has been
exactly
around
what I was
forever.
thinking.
I
First
actually
one I ever
once
used.
had a course on how to use
I
Trello.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't exist
Everybody used
anymore, so
Trello.
sorry. Although, if you reach out to me and you really want to see it, I'm sure I could scrounge it up and give it to you, but I'm sure a lot of it's out of date because it was a few
Yeah.
years ago. And you know how fast technology
Yeah.
rolls.
I think that was before Atlassian bought them.
Yeah, it was about the same time. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like it came out and then Atlassian bought it, and yeah, so a lot has changed.
I
But
actually have a client that still uses Trello for project management.
I have a client that they have tried other ones and they always come back to Trello. Why?
Yeah.
Because it is simple. It's very
Yes.
straightforward. Now, there are kind of plugins that you can add to create things like automations and stuff like that. But if you just simply want, it's like a board, it's got cards. Think of it like a digital bulletin board.
Yes.
You can have a heading. Could you try again? Oh, was that me? Oh,
Uh-oh.
yep.
Yes.
Sorry.
Your
I'm
your
getting
watch thinks
passionate
you're
with my
talking to
hands, and my watch Siri is not into it. Like, I'm not talking to you. I'm sorry. Um, if you have a bulletin board, you have headings and then different cards. Think of it like that. So Trello is, to
Yeah.
me, the best way to talk about it is as if it's a digital bulletin board.
Yeah.
So it's really good for visually managing those projects.
Yeah, it is really good for, and it's fun. You can customize the background and change colors,
Mhm.
and you can really make it something you enjoy looking at.
Yeah. To me, though, the problem is that when you change it, it changes it for everyone.
Yeah.
So there are no custom views.
Yeah.
Another thing I personally don't like about Trello, believe me, I used to love Trello. I created a stinking course about it. But I feel like as I've grown, my business has grown, my needs have changed, I needed something else. And one of the things that I personally love is a view of seeing things more in a list versus a board. So for me, I outgrew Trello,
Yeah.
but it is great for people who are just starting project management. It's very visually, especially if you do a lot of things with graphics.
Yeah.
It's really nice because it'll show you the graphics, and so it's really great for small businesses who are just beginning to move beyond a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
right? And it's very easy to use, so it doesn't really take much training on anyone's part.
Yeah.
It's just like, just use it.
Yeah, just use it. And it has, because it is sort of the original project management system, it has a lot of integrations with other things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially through Zapier, it will connect to a lot of different programs, which can be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and it's got a free version. So that's another reason why people like to jump in and
And
try
you can do
that.
a lot with the free version.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely worth something. It's worth just checking it out for free if it's something you might be interested in. So I do like Trello. Okay, so the next one is Asana. Now, Asana is one that I'm using with one of my clients, and I actually like it.
Yes.
Years ago, when I first tried it, it had some limitations. It, in comparison to Trello, it would only show lists,
Yeah.
and Trello would only show boards. And it drove me crazy because it's like what I need isn't what Angela needs, what isn't what somebody else working on the project needs. But what I love about Asana now is you can look at the same project in a board form if you're a board person, a list form if you're a
Yes.
list person, and you can change the views for yourself or for the whole team. It's so much more customizable than it used to be.
Yes, it is. Asana is what I used before I used Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, one of the reasons I switched was because I couldn't get Asana to do what I wanted it to do without paying for it. And their pricing structure is a little weird. So,
yeah. Now, I will say that the client I'm working with, they pay for it. So I do have all those features at my fingertips. So I get all the advanced stuff, right?
yeah.
And
I mean, Asana is still great. And especially if you're not integrating with a lot of things, it can be really useful.
yeah. Well, actually, it does integrate with some things. So it's not
Yeah.
like completely, that limited. So, for example, I have it connected to Slack. So I get pings there to it as a reminder of like, hey, go check Asana. Someone made a
Yeah.
comment. So Asana is really great for teams. And something I think they do better than anyone are the little bursts of animation for that
Yes.
dopamine hit.
I
They've
love
got
that.
flying rainbow narwhals and unicorns
Yes.
and all the things, which if you're into that, you click something done and you get a rainbow. Hey,
Yes.
celebration. Asana might be for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. The caveat I will say is if you are solo, if you're not planning on bringing a team and you need paid versions of Asana, their like team version or their professional version starts with it's 2 accounts, and you have to pay for both of them if you want the professional. So that was one of the reasons I switched, because I didn't want to pay for an account that I didn't have anybody to use.
Mm-hmm.
But you
they
can still do a lot with the free
I
version
was going to say they
too.
still have a free plan, which
Yeah.
you can do a lot with. But yeah, it has some pretty cool things. And the other thing is, and we talked about this in the original episode of things you're looking for, it has the ability to view, like create reports or create your own special
Mm-hmm.
dashboard to
Yes.
see how many tasks different people have, how many tasks are overdue, who has the overdue tasks. So it's really great for working with teams.
Yeah.
Um, I, yeah, and they are updating it all the time. They have new features, so it's definitely not something that's set it and forget it. They are
Yeah.
constantly improving. Like I said, just a few years ago, I left because I didn't like it, and now I'm back,
Totally
and
new checklist.
it's totally different, and I like it.
Yeah. Yep. I think the next one on our list is your favorite, though.
It is ClickUp. Now, I actually pay for ClickUp. So if you're asking, hey, Angela, what do you pay for? She pays for Marvin. Hey,
I'm using
Jessie, what do you
Marvin.
pay for? I pay for ClickUp.
Yep.
ClickUp to me is very similar to Asana. It's a lot of customization. It has a lot of, especially being techies, Angela and I need to be able to customize things in the way that we want to customize them.
Yeah.
I feel like ClickUp can do that for me. I can view things and connect things the way that I want to view and connect them. And so I really like ClickUp. One person I was talking to once about ClickUp said that it was ugly. And I almost took offense for it, like it was my thing. Now, although I will say, yeah, anyway, it's very simple and clean. I like that.
Yes.
I like the simple, clean look. Yes, there are colors and you can, see different things in colors, but for someone who apparently needed more color in his life, he said it was boring. And I, like I said, almost took offense to it. But ClickUp to me is very similar to Asana. It's great for teams. You have customized views. Now, I might shoot myself in the foot for this, but now that I've used Asana a lot more after years of not using it, I might consider switching.
Ooh.
I know, to using Asana. And here's the biggest reason. When you have a card on a board in Asana, I can easily add it to another board. So it's the same card on multiple boards. Whereas ClickUp, you can only do that if it has the same status. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
What I like about Asana is they can be on different boards in different statuses, but you can't do that in ClickUp. Now, to be honest, I haven't hardcore used ClickUp in a while, so that may have changed. I have more recently been using it for more simple tasks. But that right there is a huge thing to me to be able to even consider moving over to Asana.
Right. Yeah.
But I do love ClickUp for sure. And it also has a free version. So get in there, try it. I feel like they're different enough that if you get in there to both Asana and ClickUp and try them, you might find one that speaks to you better.
Right. Yeah. So what is this next one? I haven't heard of this one, which surprises me.
Wrike. Now, I haven't used it personally, but I have heard of it. It definitely has it kind of like a, souped up spreadsheets. I mean, it does have other views as well.
Oh, like a little bit like Airtable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it does have other available project views. What I'm not sure is that it feels more corporate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not sure how customizable it really is. And it does have integrations, but let me see here. I
mean, it has time tracking, which is, I know we talked about that a little bit. That
I think it
can be helpful.
It's on
to
here
have
because
that
it has a lot of AI features.
Yeah, that's the part that makes me nervous.
I know. I like to be in control, so AI is kind of scary for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's pricey compared to some of the other ones that have free plans. I mean, this one has a free plan as well, but once you decide to start paying for it, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to mention it because it's on several of the lists that I saw, so it's worth looking into, but I don't actually have much experience with it.
Yeah, I don't either. It does look very Airtable-like though. Not quite as customizable as Airtable. Like you said, it feels very corporate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It from what I'm seeing here, it's not as customizable as some of the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good to keep in mind, maybe check out, but not something that we have experience with or are probably going to try anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another one is ActiveCollab. That's all one word, ActiveCollab. And it's really great for, this says freelancers and small agency teams. So
Yeah.
if you're
I
very
used this
small,
once a
maybe it's
long
something to
time
look into.
ago.
Oh, you did?
I did. It was a very long time ago. The one feature that I remember that I really liked about it was that you could time track right on the task. Like instead of having to like, because I know Asana and some of the others, maybe not Asana. Does
ClickUp.
Asana do time tracking? ClickUp does.
ClickUp does.
Some of them do time tracking, but you usually still have to like type in what you're doing or whatever. But with the ActiveCollab, it's like right there on the task. It will just track how much time you've spent on that task.
Yeah. And something else it says here is that it does billing and expenses.
Yeah.
So kind of having that all in one is useful for some businesses.
Right. Yeah. It is a very designed to be kind of an everything you need sort of thing.
Yeah. And it does have a free version that you can have for up to 3 members, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So if you're a small team, that can be really useful.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think that's gone on long enough. So that was the first 6 that Angela and I tackled, and we have about 9 or 10 more to go through, but it's just so much. We're going to get to it next week. So be on the lookout for part 2 of this episode where we discuss project management systems by name, in depth, what we like, what we don't like, why you might like them, and hopefully it can help you select if you're having trouble selecting a project management system to keep yourself organized. So until next week, bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.